Okay, so I was asked by friends on Twitter to explain a very cool piece of software, which was originally given me by a London DJ, Pete Tong, and it's a thing called Metasynth. There is a free demo online, and you can buy the full version that allows you to store and save. But even in the demo version, you can see how it works. And I can't explain everything because it's a phenomenally big piece of software that does all manner of things, including its original purpose, which was to turn images into music, believe it or not. So it's kind of it's got a whole synthesizer element to it. But the little bit of the third drawer down in the kitchen of Metasynth is something that I have open all the time. And that's a thing called grain, and it allows you to extend a chord or a note. And it's always happening that, like the piece of music you're hearing at the moment, which isn't there just because I'm mad about British nationalist classical music, although I am a bit, it's there to show you a little piece of music that veers off a bit too quickly. You might want a longer sustain here before it goes off there. See what I mean? So I've taken that sample, that audio sample, into Metasynth. I'm going to import it. Open Sound it's called. And then I'll find my little thing there, which is Tippett Double Concerto. And then if you go to grain, these settings here, they're going to stand you in good stead to do this kind of soft chord. Metasynth, it does a different thing if it's something with a strong attack, but if it's something like a string chord or a choir, it's really, really effective. You can barely hear the processing. It's got a very clever little algorithm. But these four settings, it's 947, 25, 112, 73, that's a good place to start. You should play around with all these levers and see what they do. But that will work for this sample, I believe. Okay, so I've imported my piece of music, and I'm going to play. I've got two little tools here that are useful, a pencil tool and a ruler tool. And with the ruler tool, I'm going to slow it down and freeze it. It's running at normal speed. There's the chord I want to extend. So it was around there, I think. What that's going to do is enable us to play the music and then to go into that chord. And it really does crawl along at a snail's pace when it's down there at 0. So let's try and listen to that, and hopefully I've picked the right bit. And then you could probably fade that out in your non-linear editing tool of choice. So Metasynth's actually capable of sampling even a very, very short bit of music and extending it. If it's the right kind of sound, you might not notice it. So let's say in this piece of music, you just wanted to extend the highest note in the pattern, that note there. All you'd have to do is, let's grab this little thing, somewhere around there should be, you're going to need a shorter sample, in other words, the grain size. We're going to bring that down from 947 to about, let's say, I'm going to guess around there, 320. Let's try that. And then you could crossfade it back. It's not an ideal sample because the low note is still resonating in the room, but it at least shows that you can grab something that's tiny. So that's how to extend a chord, and it sounds quite natural. It isn't probably good enough for a Dolby mix, but it's a start. It could be emulated by cleverer people. It's not just for music, it can be used for sound effects. And there was something I dug out the other day, which was something we used in SICARIO, which was to try and convey what was inside Benicio del Toro's mind when he was having a nightmare on a private jet. We took the sound of a woman screaming, a very short sound, and I used Metasynth and extended it, and we put it under the sound of the jet engines. And it sounds something like this. Those sounds were all just made in Metasynth and feathered under the jet sound, so it kind of conveys a scream without you really hearing it. Could be wheels scrunching. Okay, good luck with Metasynth.